Well, hello everybody, this is Wedding Talks and I'm your host Danny Nagy, where I talk everything weddings. I've got a little coffee prepared for myself, so I'm going to say cheers and plug shamefully or not shamefully my other podcast, Caffeinated Creatives. Go check it out. I talk to artists, creators while drinking coffee. Anyway, that's a good brew, espresso. Anyway, so I have a wedding coming up this Saturday, and I've got to put my gear together because I just had a wedding this past Saturday in Florence, Alabama. So now I'm putting my gear together, kind of making sure I have everything, all the batteries are charged, all my carts are ready to go, and all my equipment is ready. So I thought to myself, it might be a great opportunity to show you guys what it's like before a wedding, what preparations I do. So first of all, I gotta make sure I have everything, and I've put pretty much all my stuff here. I've got my camera bag, my gimbal, my audio rig, my tripods, my drones, and everything. So I gonna have to make sure that I have everything in order, and let's get started. My toothbrush, because I was just in Alabama recording another wedding, so I'm gonna place this here as decoration, because why not? Okay, so first I gotta sit down. So here are all the cameras. So this is my A7S3. Let me take out the battery. I love this camera. That's one of my main cameras, and when I'm shooting for other companies, representing other companies, usually they want me to shoot in a standard picture profile, which means I'm not shooting log, the colors, everything is kind of baked in. So when I'm shooting for companies, I gotta make sure that all my cameras are in the same format. So 4K 60 for everything but talking. When there's talking, it's 4K 24. This is my B camera Fx30. Love this thing. This is a crop sensor. It's like a baby version of an FX3, which I love it. It just has everything. I love the outline of it. So let me see. Okay, I've got that. Okay. Just putting all my SD cards in order so that when I'm copying them, I can distinguish what's copied and what's not. I've got a lot of cards and I need a lot of space. I had to recently get another 24 terabyte hard drive because it just takes a lot of space to save all these events. Alright, I've got my other camera, which is an A7R5. I love this thing. But the only thing with this is it crops in when I'm doing 4K 60. And it crops in for video. It's a great hybrid. It's 10-bit 422. It does all the, 4K 60. But it has a crop, so it doesn't look the same as 4K 60 on an A7S3. But it matches. Like, that's I really care about it, and it's a great photo camera, which is what I use for photography. So I've got all my cameras here. Okay, I've got a microphone. Okay, here's my Sigma 2470 f2.8. This is great. This is the lens I usually use on the A7R5. It's a 16-28 because it crops in. So I'm gonna have a crop in by default for 4K 60, and if I'm using active stabilization, that crops in again. So this gives me a good enough range. I also love using this on the A7S3 when I'm doing like establishment shot or run and gunning. You know, I like to use this. Okay, here's my other lens, which I use for the Fx30. This is a 23mm f1.2 which turns out to be around 35mm with the crop factor. Because this is the focal length, but this is not the field of view. The field of view is going to be, you have to use the crop factor, so it's 1.5, so 23 times 1.5, roughly 35mm, which looks great in my opinion. A lot of times I shot weddings where Fx30 was my main camera, but the Fx30, I don't like what it looks like when it's 1920 1080 or just HD. I do love it when it's full 4K, I mean. Here is a cool thing that I like to use in weddings. This is the Insta360 4X. I love doing like a 360 experience for ceremonies and certain parts. I love to do a little collage with the 360, and it captures everything around. So it's just in my hand. Sometimes I walk in with two cameras and capture moments, and it gives me really cool field of view. And of course I'm shooting on the Osmo Pocket 3, which tracks me. It's also 10-bit. It has log M, D-Log M, not the real D-Log, but the lighter version of it. But it still is better than having no option. Anyway, I have this 20mm autofocus Viltrox, which I use sometimes. I still need to get an ND filter for it. Okay, let's see. I've got this case. Wait, I think I forgot to take something off of there. You go. And another. So I'm just making sure I'm accounting for everything. Here is my case that I bring for SD cards. My SD card case to go. And my ND filters. So this is for the 16-28, 2470, and the 23mm. Great cleaner. This is for my Rode Wireless Pro. This is a charger cable. Got a lot of charger cables here. And yeah, I know I gotta clean this room. It's kind of always in some kind of shape. Okay, so more batteries. This is for the Wireless Pro. I've got about 9 batteries, which I always use in one long wedding day. ND filters for the Pocket 3. More cables. This is cleaner. Okay, this is clean. I love this case, by the way. That's from Condition 1. I used this when I traveled to Europe. Took all my rig, or most of my rig there, to shoot another wedding in Hungary. More batteries. Look at all that. I gotta charge all these batteries. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 batteries. And yep, I use all of that in one wedding day. Okay, so this is packed out. I'm gonna put it over here. Okay, so now I gotta tighten this baby because I've had my 2470 on it, and it kind of is heavy for this rig. So I have to tighten this every once in a while. Okay. So first I've gotta charge my batteries for the cameras, then save all the footages from the cards, charge the battery of the Ronin, charge the battery of the Osmo, charge the battery and save the files from the Rode Wireless Go, save the files from this little microphone and charge it. And I also have this handy 32-bit recorder, the Zoom H4 Essential. So whenever I'm recording a wedding, I always record the DJ sound with this. And the cool thing about it is you plug in and you don't have to worry about really the gain, as long as the DJ sound is not peaking into it. Even if this is peaking, you can take down the gain and you can recover. And I've had instances where I've listened to what I had in this and it was crazy loud, and it was peaking, distorting, crazy. But thankfully, I was able to recover it by pressing the G in Premiere and taking it down by 24 decibels, and it fixed everything. So thank you for this 32-bit capability. Also, this is 32, and the Wireless Pro, my Wireless Pros are 32 as well. I love these because they record internally and they also send the signal. So I'm sending a signal now to my Osmo Pocket 3, but it also records internally. So that if there's an issue, I can always bring it into the Premiere Pro from internal recording. Hopefully that made sense. And it is recording, as you can see. Okay, so now I'm going to look for my audio. I'm just gonna put them over here. So in terms of audio, I use this guy. This is the H4 Essential, and I have the card over here. It's not in there right now, so good thing I checked. It's probably it is in my laptop. It's somewhere. No, I know, I got it. So audio. And this is my lav, and it's charged. Look at this convenient case, Wireless Pro. I love these. I've never had any issues with them. Settings, I will go through them later. And this little case has all the accessories, which I actually need to order backup accessories, because one of the things I don't like about these is these accessories are easily detachable, and I've had a couple of times where Groom nearly lost it, and that is not something I want to have in a wedding day, because then I gotta find another way around how to mount these things, which I always have backups. I do have 3 other lav microphones from Tascam that I use as backups. The DL10, I think what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they're not my favorite. They do the job, but it does not send a signal to my camera. So I have to do a lot of manual stuff afterwards, but it's still pretty easy. So let's see what else I've got. Candy filters. Sound. Ronin. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna put these batteries in here. I'm gonna start charging them, and since I've got a good couple of days before my wedding this coming Saturday, I really don't have to use any fast charger, but I do like to have a power bank that's fully charged, that's fast charge for the wedding day, because sometimes I do need to charge batteries the day of, and you really don't want to be in a situation where you have to capture something important and you don't have batteries with you. But luckily I've never had that happen, and sometimes I put a small battery over here, external battery, and kind of use that to power my camera or anything. So let's see what else I've got. So I've got batteries charging. This is not plugged in, I know. This is plugged in. I've got 3 more to charge. These are charged. I always take a 2 terabyte Samsung T7 with me to just save every footage and organize it either the day of or the night of when I finish the wedding, or the day after. I try to save it as soon as possible, because you don't want anything to happen, you know. I always try to have at least a couple of backups before I delete, or before I deliver. But I do try to keep everything for as long as I can, so they're not gone. Okay, let's see what else. I'm gonna have a sip here. That's good. Good. Caffeinated Creatives again. My other podcast. Check it out. Okay, well, I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. This is the first episode, essentially. I'm going to be talking a lot about weddings, what I do, how I like to pose, how I like to talk to a couple, meet the photographer, and just get ready for the day. But let's continue. So, that was one part of the thing, one part of the gears. Oh, this space is a little too low here. Okay. So I've got the drones. So I love this guy. This is the Avata 2. And this is 10-bit, so it also has great colors, and it matches really well with my other cameras, and it looks just great. I love it. I got it actually early this year because I did a bunch of drone stuff for Ben Oaks. He's awesome. You guys gotta check out Ben Oaks. He's a director. He's got a video production company, and I had a chance to interview him for Cafe Creatives, my other podcast, and he called me to do a couple of drone gigs, and I'm like, oh, this is a great kind of opportunity to get a better drone, and I always wanted an FPV drone. So whenever I'm shooting a wedding, I always try to arrive an hour early, meet the couple, and then do drones. And I start with this. I always try to do some really cool shots, which I'll try to show somewhere around this area in the video. Cool action shots, cool shots going through the aisle, showing the location, going through the driveway. You can do some really, really cool action stuff. And I have an ND filter on it right now, which is good to have because you cannot control all of the elements of the exposure in it. So that's how you can control exposure in one way. Okay, so I take out the batteries, and I also record internally because it has a whooping 46 gigabyte, around 46, and it's pretty fast, so I had no problem with it. So yes, moving on, I take out all the elements, check how am I doing with batteries. Okay, so I'm doing pretty good with these, but I've got to charge this one. And the cool thing about this is if I have 3 batteries that are in 3 different places, like charges, they will charge one, I think. So if these 2 are not that charged and this is something like that, so they will use their power to charge another one, something like that. I hope that was understanding. So they collectively charge one, but you can fast charge it. I use my MacBook Pro's charger, and it fast charges it. So I put this here so that it's in my mind, and I've got to charge its goggle and this thing, the remote too. I think is what it's called. So I'm gonna put these puppies here so that it's in my line of sight. Okay, so I gotta charge all of those. And here's a charger, and here's the ND filter for it too. You see, I'm already showing you a lot of gear over here. So let's start charging this gimbal, because that is a bit more important to have charged than the drone right now. So this is the drone, and I've got the Mavic Air 2, which I will show in a moment. Here's the Mavic Air 2. I've been flying this for a while now, and I honestly love it. This is what got me started in the whole game. You know, I went to Pilot Institute, studied there for a good, I would say 4 months. I took my time because it's something I didn't want to rush when I was working on my license. And then I had to go to this off-site place around the airport to take a test. It was crazy. Like, you had to learn so much about reading maps, understanding meteorological data, and just a lot of stuff. Honestly, I think it's very necessary. If you're a pilot and you're making money, do the Part 107. Do it. You know, you're just gonna learn so much, and I think it's necessary. Anyway, back to it. So, gonna do pretty much the same. Gonna take out all the batteries and start charging them. And I don't overshoot with this. I try to have the exact ideas I want. So I record internally. It has a good 9 gigabyte. It's just fast in my opinion, but I do sometimes put an SD card in it. But I like to use all my micro SDs on my other cameras. Anyway, so I like to do circular shots, going out, shots going in, going up, things like that. And that's really cool. Only thing I don't like about this is, which most people probably won't notice, it doesn't have 10-bit color or D-Log M, which is okay. But my next thing would be to invest would be the new DJI Air 3S, which has 2 cameras. It has the D-Log M. So there's a lot of really cool stuff, which I would love. Don't necessarily need it. I need it. I want it. But anyway, so I've got the drone charging, Mavic Air 2. I've got my cameras charging, the gimbal charging, my toothbrush is not charging, but it's okay. The charger is in the bathroom. Okay, so we have these things. I've got these cables I should probably put somewhere. Okay. I'll go through them. Don't worry, I know it's a little cluster over here. Okay, so I got this really cool thing. You pop the Rode Wireless Pro in there, and then you can go into your people. It's pretty neat. So stands. I have this really cool stand, Manfrotto, and the funnest or the coolest story is that I was visiting my wife's parents, and we in Mississippi, and we went to this. What is that? That is a freaking spider! Holy cow! There was a spider over there. That is crazy. Ooh. What kind of freaking spider is this? Lord almighty. Well, I ain't no killing spider here now. You know, anyway, so this ginormous video tripod usually goes for a couple $100. I walk into this thrift store and I saw this whole package for like $15. And I was making some research. It did not have a plate in it. I'm like, you know what? I'll get it. Whatever. So I got it. Ordered a plate for it, and it worked great. I mean, it is heavy, not gonna lie, but you don't want to put your expensive camera in a cheap tripod. That spider is over there. Golly, that spider found its spot over here. Anyway, so that's that tripod. I've got 2 more tripods and 1 monopod. So I got this thing. That spider is still there. This is a great handy little monopod. What am I doing? Okay, so this is an Avella or Avella, whatever, carbon fiber monopod, which I love. It's very light, it's tall, same plate, it uses the same plate as the other, and it's very easily movable. So that's a yay for using it. And here, so I found this really cool golf case that I use for golf bets or whatever. And I have light stands, I have tripods, cables, all sorts of things kind of put into it. And it's just a convenient way to bring things to the wedding day or to anything, any shoot, you know. Here's another tripod, you know. Here's this is my little tripod for either a 360 camera or the Osmo Pocket 3, so it conveniently carries stuff for me. So I probably should put an Apple AirTag in it, you know. So there's a lot of cool stuff in it. So where's this spider? Golly, this spider is gone. Okay. Whew, need a little moment here before I move forward. Good coffee. Again, Caffeinated Creatives. Check it out. Okay. So, I have this this bag. It's not really a bag in it. So I have this. This is my case for the H4 Essential. And this is a soft box for my little portable light, which I will show you later. I've got cables. This is an XLR cable. This is, I'm bringing this every time because you never know what kind of cable you need to get the DJ sound. And a lot of times this is what I can use to get their sound from the back of the speaker. So a good XLR out and then into this thing, and then you're pretty good. I can probably up my audio game, you know. There are a lot of really cool YouTubers who are well seasoned, probably more seasoned than I am, but you know, we'll all get there one day, or we all can learn and better ourselves. Anyway, so this is, try to have this as my little extras gear. I have my extra lavs here. So after a little break here, because I had to fix something with this camera setup. What was I talking? I was talking about the extra lavs. They're right here. Well, actually they were right there, but I put them there. Anyway, Tascam DR10L, and I've got 3 over here, and I have them in case something happens with the other ones that I use. And these are a little easier to hide, but what I don't like about them is they don't send a signal to my camera. Actually, I might be able to figure out how I could send it, but that might be a little too much work. Anyway, so these are extra, which I always take. I'll put them right over here. And I don't remember if I talked about this. So this is a turning table, which is awesome. It turns. Let's say I put this on it, and I use some haze machine around it and record it in 4K 60 and find some good light. I mean, use the lighting source. You know, you can do some really cool like product videography with it, which I love. Anyway, where is my haze machine? I hope I get it. I mean, I hope I have it and not lost it. That'd suck. Anyway, so we have talked about stands, we've talked about cameras, charging batteries, saving footages. Let's see what else I've got. I have this handy cart over here, which I bring to every single wedding. Uh-oh, I can't find my thingy. That sucks. Anyway, back to lights. So here is my dome. And I use this dome with my powerful light source, and I use it if the couple are not too sensitive to light, they're okay with it, but this does help a lot to get better quality light for the video. And this is the light that I use it with. This is the Godox SL62BI. I love this thing. This is powerful. Whew. So after a moment of panic, and I've looked through my wife's car, which we took last weekend, and I thankfully found the machine, the fog machine. Whew, I banged a little bit, I'll tell you. I've been bringing so much equipment, and sometimes I work so much that I forget a couple of things. It happened a couple of times. That's why I've got to have a list. So, this handy tool, this is the fog liquid. And this handy cool tool allows me to add really cool textures into the shots. I'll show you. Turn it on, and then cool in it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so this also needs charging. So the amount of stuff that you need to have charged is a lot. That's why you kind of have to have a system of what order you're going to be charging all this, you know. So when you go over your equipment, you know, have an idea, you know, cameras, lenses, filters, cards, batteries, lights, cables, whatever. So I have that fog machine here. So I also got a really cool battery operated light. Let's check it out. From Small Rig, I got this battery operated light. You charge it. Takes a good amount of time to charge it, but it's good for a while, about 90 minutes. I've got mounts here. Here's the light. Here's this thing, I forgot what it's called. You probably know, and you're probably gonna let me know. This is for a V-mount battery. And then you can also use this plugged in, which is really good. I've got a long cable there. This is very, very strong. So night shots are really cool with it. See? This is really cool. And it's this small, so it's really, really awesome. From Small Rig. So, let's see. I've got long cables here. I've got in my cart here, I've got this long cable. I've got some more XLR cables. I've got a D power cord for my light, for the other light that I showed you. So that's about it. Well, I have my my Osmo Pocket 3 case and its stuff, but I think that's about it. So I'm gonna summarize it very quick and I call it a day. So these are pretty much the items that I have to go through every time I finish a wedding and before I start. You know, and not to mention the time it takes to kind of save all the footages and go make sure that I have everything, keeping some kind of a document with camera names, audio recorder names, file names, keeping kind of a record on how much footage I have. So, oh yes, I forgot to mention that before I shoot, I also have to make sure that all of the cameras are in the same format of color, 4K 60, 10-bit 422, except the Pocket, Osmo Pocket 3, that's 420, I think. And so make sure that the cameras are in order, so the same settings for every camera, the drones, and then I have enough space for my audio recorder, so the lavs, and then the Zoom H4n, the batteries are charged, all the batteries, it's a lot of batteries, and then the stands are in order and the gimbal is in charge. The gimbal is fully charged and the drones and all the operators are in charge. So that's about it. So thank you for watching. This was the first episode of Wedding Talks, and I invite you to check out the future episodes. That was Danny Nagy, Wedding Talks.